Can you smoke cat?
Shock it.
Omen's mid.
That's 3.
No, Cage is here.
One enemy remaining.
4 down. Not a touch.
Hey,
All done. You will not kill my allies. I'm out of here. You are divided.
They're walling.
Bad move. Gotta go. Shocking.
2 there. 1 main.
They walled here.
Go, go, go. Too slow. Next.
Holy.
Go, go, go.
spike down B.
One more.
Hey guys, as you can see, I got invited to play test the new Agent Neon, so here's a little video with some gameplay, and also I'll add my thoughts in Theorycraft at the end of the video, but I wanted to put as much gameplay as possible in front of people, along with all the other creators, so you could just get your ideas on how to play this agent. So enjoy the gameplay, and then afterwards, we'll talk a little bit more. Hey there, water. Two in my wall.
Gotta go.
One enemy remaining.
Like,
Spike down A.
one mid. Two mid.
I'm out of here. My uncle, go, go. I'm out of here. Hi. Hit. This.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Gotta go.
Just water. No, close cubby.
Last player
Hit
standing.
90. Oh my god. All right, guys. It's time, baby. No, my ult is on. I have my ult. I'm not buying a weapon.
Here we go.
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
I've got your trail.
Guys, falling.
You should run.
Viper's low.
Watch out.
Like that.
One enemy remaining.
Coming through. I'm out of
Coming
here.
to you. Oh, close cubby.
Gotta go.
See this agent is so fucking fun. Okay, so Jet is high skill cap, a very, very high skill ceiling,
Kick them out.
but also a low skill floor, so anybody can play her. This agent, I think, is a high skill cap, but like, this is a high skill cap, but also a high skill floor. So if you aren't good, this agent can be.
I've got your trail.
Dude, please.
One enemy remaining.
Take this. Take this.
The double conks are crazy, actually. How easy to get those off.
Last round in the half.
You get those off so fast.
One enemy remaining.
That was their best, Kaba.
Last player standing. Spike down A.
I can't even hear that.
I'm out of here. Coming through.
One enemy remaining.
Ow.
Guys, I have my ult. Somebody take my gun. You need my gun, Bren? See you later.
Watch out! Here we go! Sky's falling!
This is stupid.
Shock it!
One enemy remaining.
Shock it! Shock it!
It actually runs up. Two here. Yeah, B's open. They ran out.
Match
The
point.
ult does not last that long.
Finish it!
More here.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Excuse me, I'm working.
Never mind.
Last player standing.
Gotta go! Gotta go! I got spike!
One enemy remaining.
Go! Spike planted. Gotta go! My ult's ready.
Oh, he's so slow on the flank. Can you smoke cat?
Shock it!
Omen's mid.
Next! That's 3.
No, okay, just here.
One enemy remaining.
4 down. Out of time.
Hey,
All done.
Out.
Through. I'm out of here.
one enemy remaining.
Don't smoke top mid, please. For a sec, at least.
Boy, pissed. I'm out of here.
One enemy remaining. Spike down
My ult's
A.
ready. Down.
One enemy remaining.
Next. Skedaddle. You're done. Take this. Go.
It's close to her.
Go. Down.
More A main.
Enemies.
Off your feet!
Take this. This way. I'm out of here. Too slow. Go.
One enemy
My ult's
remaining.
ready.
No! Why is he just baiting?
Right there. This way. There we go.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Come on, guys.
Hello. There's like 3 there behind that.
My ult's go.
40. Ace through.
He's at 110.
Gotta go.
Oh.
Take this. I'm out of here. Next, not the chat.
Nice.
Go. You will not kill my ally. I'm out of here. You are divided.
They're walling.
Bad move. Gotta go. Shock it.
2 there. 1 main.
They walled here.
Go. Too slow. Next.
Holy.
Go.
Spike down B.
Okay, so let's theory craft a little bit, and I'll provide like my insight on like how good the ult is, how good she is in comparison to Jet. And let's start with her wall, the fast lane first. I think that this is a relatively difficult ability to use, just because it's instant cast. So one thing to note about it is it will go through walls, but not if you are like aiming directly into a wall. So for example, if I shoot right here, You see that little
There.
projectile right there?
This way.
That's what's actually trailing the wall. So I could shoot it over this, and it'll go through as well. So you could basically have execute from A main or something like that. I don't know. I'm just thinking. You could just think any place that the projectile goes over. If you look, the wall will actually go through, and you can block a lot of line of sights like that. It kind of works like an old Viper wall in a sense. So I still thought that it was pretty hard to use though, because you think of ways to use it. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, running through the wall, right? Sliding through and popping out at a specific spot, which I think will be the main use of it, because it kind of works like a Viper lurking. Like specifically, I think of Nats on Bind, for example. He puts that wall up and his orb, and he walks down short A the entire time. So this is kind of the same thing, but you can create that everywhere, no matter where the lanes are. But what I was using it for the most part was actually like blocking regular angles, like kind of using it as a smoke. And I thought that this was pretty good because it gives two different places where you have to mind game, or you can mind game with people. So there was the one clip where I walled out like this, and I came this way, and then you could actually have played like in front of it right here, and they don't necessarily think that this is an angle. Okay, the conch relay bolt is insane. It's actually so nuts. I think that this skill is going to be the skill ceiling. Like this is the mechanic that's going to make this character really, really good if people can get good at it, because this is, in my mind, her like get out of jail free card. I know that people are going to think the dash is her get out of jail free card, but I really think it's the conch, because look how fast that casts, and you could do it out of like any corner. You could do it while you're running, while you're speed boosting. You could do it while you're in your ult as well. And like you can see how fast you can get your stuff back out. You can kind of use it like how Astra takes map control. Like in the beginning of A main right here, if you just pop like that, look how much that's covering. And then you just have somebody pop a smoke right here, and you have A main. There's a lot of examples, double conch like this, and you can know. I know everybody else has probably already put out videos about how it bounces and stuff. So for example, I was thinking in this corner, if I want to conch stairs, what I want to do actually is not bounce it off the wall, because that's doing the two AoEs right here on top, one there and right there, and they're overlapping. So if I'm coming out at B main, what I want to do is actually bounce it off the floor, and that controls a lot more space. Obviously right there, I don't know if I care that much about conching this corner, but you are going to want to think about how to do that. For example, spawn, you want to conch in front and bounce it off the back. That one's not ideal because there's a gap right where they'd be pushing, but you're controlling the space that they push out and the space behind the smoke, for example, that would be there. I saw in the influencer Discord, I think it was one of the devs said that it was a three powered shock dart, right? Like a fully powered shock dart, as opposed to KO's nade was a 2 powered shock dart. So that's the speed that it travels. Okay, now the high gear, the speed boost. This ability is the thing that makes it the most fun, this character, I would say. Just because if you're, I felt like as a team player, somebody who really likes to like get fighting with his team and whatnot, this is what everybody should be, but the reality situation is not. This is the skill that gets you in those positions so much. Like if I'm playing B, and well, this is probably a bad example because it's like, why would I rotate to mid to help him? But either way, like I can get here so much faster than normally, and then I could be there. Or if even they're pushing A, right? I can be there so much quicker than everybody else. I'm gonna refresh it with my ult. This is just a custom game thing. And then you could use it to like shoulder peek angles a lot better. It's not like much better than normal, but if you're bad at movement, like kind of helps a little bit. You could do stuff like this, and it definitely is a little bit faster than normally.
Here we go. I'm out of here.
Definitely is a little bit faster, and you can see people on the mini map like that, so that'll help. But you could also jump to places much easier if you need to skill jump something, and then just the slide. The slide.
On and low.
It's not like a jet dash, okay? So let me go over some of the stuff that happens with this ability in terms of like, you can't really use it as an escape tool because you can't dash backwards because the momentum doesn't work like that. You can actually spin like that in your jump, but you can't dash backwards like this, right? What you can do is you can dash to the right if you do it properly.
Go, go,
You have to
go.
make sure that you're timing this right, because if you mess it up, like for example right there, I messed it up and I wasn't able to dash to the left.
Go, go, go.
But if you do it right with enough speed, you can always dash to the left and right. And then another weird interaction is on edges with this thing. So it'll basically surf the edge. If I dash into this, it's going to surf the edge like a sky flash
I'm
would, for
outta here.
example. You see how I just surfed that edge there. But that also creates a weird interaction, for example, like here, where I can dash backwards because of the way that I do it. So if I dash at the right angle into this, to the right, it will bring me back along this edge. So see if I do it, see right there, exactly like that. I don't know if there's any uses of that. I think there probably will be, but it's going to be really hard to do too much of. There's probably a few very obvious uses that I can't think of, but yeah, that's the thing. And obviously, like I
I'm
told
out of
you,
here.
any edge will do that, so you can do something like that and kind of get like a weird dash ability. But yeah, the only way that you're using this as an escape tool, like you would jet dash, is if you're going cover to cover.
Gotta go.
There was one clip I think on B. Actually, the last clip of the gameplay that I showed was where I went from back
There.
boathouse
I'm out of here.
and I went cover to cover right here. So it blocked this
There.
angle, but this
Block
guy
the
right
spike.
here was exposed to me, and he actually didn't really react to me because he didn't realize that I could dash like that.
Gotta
So I
go.
just went like this. Cover to cover is pretty good. It's going to be hard for them to shoot a person dashing like that. And I showed one clip of another perspective on vines. I might run it again right now, but I think pros will be very good at being able to track the neon dashing. So you really, really need to be thinking. Like, you can't just do it in the open, right? Oh, they're coming.
I'm
Like,
outta here.
I'm gonna try it. They're hard pushing lane. Like, let's escape like this. Not truly, unless you have cover and you're thinking about those. So I think it's mostly going to be a space taking ability and also like breaking angles. Like for example,
There.
here I'm breaking it. I'm going to the other side, and I was expecting
There.
my teammate to like peek something like this. Like if they're all out on market,
Go, go,
exposed, boom, like that. Now we have a double setup to peek him. Right, we're double peeking him. So stuff like that, I think, is going to be crucial. You can use it in combination, I feel like, to get into some weird places like a jet dash. And you could use your wall for that.
This way.
So, for example, if a Sova darts, like I want to get out fast and get a weird angle onto market or something like that, and anything to shoot through the wall, that's something you could use the dash for as well, just to break timings. Obviously, the
I'm
speed
outta
boost is
here.
already doing that, so I don't know if you want to waste your dash, but yeah. Okay, now the ult. At first, I thought it was broken as hell. But then I realized that the better lobbies I play in, the harder it is going to be to really take somebody down from full HP, like in a 1v1 situation. Unless you really do break an angle on
I'm
them.
outta here.
Like if you dash on somebody with the ult, it's really, really hard to track them, right? Because you can shoot this while you're dashing. See what I mean? You can shoot it while you're dashing. So that is pretty dang good. So you can isolate
Almost out.
1v1s and make it really hard for them to take you out. And I think it does refresh. I forgot to check.
My
Doug
ult's
knows
ready.
for sure how many kills you need while in the ult to refresh it. Apparently it's
There
one,
we go.
but I thought that it was 2 still. So maybe you have to check that information yourself. That might be some bullshit. But either way, like shooting it while doing that, you can conk
Sock it.
and
Sock
wall while you're ulted. Conking
it.
is like really fast. You see how
Reload.
fast that goes out. But I don't think you're going to get into
My ult's
situations a lot where you're going to be taking multi-kills with this unless you're working with an execute, unless there's a lot of different things happening at the same time where it's taking your opponent's attentions away from them, because it's just still a person, right? They have a little speed boost, but they still have only 150 HP themselves. So you just challenge them a little bit, and you could tank a couple shots of this thing. It's not melting you instant if you have shield, and as long as you like, it's like fighting somebody who misses you and you get the next shot, right? Like you can easily take them out. Not a problem. The nature of the tech FPS makes it not that big of a deal. I don't think I died in my 4 games playing. No, like 5 games or so playing in the influencer test once to the ult. Although every time I used it, I got 1 or 2 kills. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it makes you overconfident, though. I think that's what a lot of people were struggling with. And the same thing with the speed boosts in general. There was the one clip where I was 1v3ing with the Marshall, and I had checked flank, and I thought he wasn't flank, but because I had my speed boost, I would never do this. I would never try to run back a main, but I did for some reason. So that's something you gotta pay attention to, because I had the speed boost. I'm like, I can get away. But the reality is, no, of course not. Like, you still have to play as a normal person. I think the ult could be really good just in bursts, right? Obviously, you can use it as, like, you want to use it for the entire round. That'd be the most value. But, for example, just taking a small area, working it during the execute, and also flipping back and forth between. So, for example, like situations like this, where I'm clearing cat, I don't want, like, if somebody's holding an angle, I don't want to peek him with my ult. I want to peek him with my gun instead. I think that will actually be somewhat meta, as long as you have a gun. I personally was not buying a gun with the ult because, at least in some of the early games that were relatively easy, because it's just so good, and economy-wise, I wanted to do that. I think you might see some of that, like a Jet use only her knives on a save round, and the rest of the team buy guns and whatnot, or your Jet buys another person a gun. That could definitely happen, and I think that's where the value of this character as an agent in the meta fits pretty good, because Jet has knives, Chamber has an op, Neon has her finger blasters, her overdrive, right? That is pretty oppressive when you think about the economy advantage that you get from having an ult that deals damage and can actually kill people. I think that might be a place. If you run all three of those agents, for example, or just even two of those, you might have an extra buy rounds or two. The staying power that you get from that, I think, might be worth it. But the rest of her kit, I don't know. It seems to me like in a chamber position in terms of the meta, where it's like, who knows until actual pro play happens. But I do think that the economy advantage on her is much less than chamber, because the ults I don't think is as powerful. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe this shit is bonkers. Like, the early games I was playing with it was bonkers. In low elo, this shit is going to be ridiculous. I swear. This is going to be the most oppressive, crazy, OP thing in low elo that I've ever seen. But in terms of pro play, I'm not sold yet. So yeah, like I said in one of those clips, I actually think that this agent is probably pretty good, but I feel like she's in a Yoru position where if you're good on her, she's going to be really good. But is she worth the time to get really good with her? I think probably she's better than Yoru in that sense. We'll see with the rework what happens. But high skill ceiling, like she could become insane in the right hands. I think any agent pretty much can. But like, for example, Jet is a very high skill ceiling agent where if you have crazy mechanics, Jet is insane. But I think her skill floor is also high, which means that if you don't have crazy mechanics, it's going to be hard to get super value out of her compared to like a Reyna, for example, which is mad easy. A Jet, for example, as well, has a relatively low skill floor because just all of her kit is insane. Whereas this one, like, you have to really have good understanding of how to use it. So Yoru was kind of the same way, but his ceiling is much lower than a Jet or a Neon, in my opinion, just because a lot of it relies on gimmicks. This one's not so much gimmicks. This one's pretty straightforward, I think, in how to play and how it fits in strats and whatnot. Whereas Yoru's like, oh shit, you have to big brain the fuck out of it. I think that's all my thoughts on the agent so far. I'm gonna continue playing her on the PBE. I think it launches today on the PBE on Friday, and we'll see how this works in pro play. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and do all the things on my social media. Hopefully I'll be making more content just like this. Peace.